Hi, I'm Shahid Malkani. Still struggling to wrap my head around the sheer technical wizardry on display in this movie. The level of visual detail and seamless integration of the lifelike blue Navi characters is utterly mind-blowing. This is the kind of cinematic experience that feels genuinely one-of-a-kind in today's landscape. In fact, this is the second major blockbuster of this caliber we've seen in 2023, following the release of Top Gun: Maverick earlier this year. The amount of innovation and pure filmmaking prowess involved is just staggering. Even in the first Avatar film, I sometimes found my attention drifting a bit during the human-centric scenes, eager to return to the wonders of the Pandora setting. This sequel is a relentless immersion in the remarkable world, and I was captivated from start to finish. That's not to say the stories at the heart of these Avatar movies are the most groundbreaking narratives we've ever seen. They tend to rely on fairly straightforward themes of protecting one's home and loved ones. But I think the true genius of James Cameron and this franchise, and it's amazing and fun James Cameron, is definitely tapped into the way to make these types of stories appealing. They just require a lot of goddamn time and money to do it the way he wants to, but just like the original Avatar, for the first half of this movie I didn't find myself emotionally engaged all that much. You're learning the environments you're in, you're feeling out the characters, you're establishing a lot of different characters, and they are all in various different places in their lives, and they're all going through different struggles and hardships, and then right around the midpoint, just like the original, something devastating happens and you're like, I'm underscore in all those people who just did that thing. I want to see them pay. That's the hook the first film gave me, and that's the hook this one gave me too. So the last half of both Avatar movies is just incredible, absolutely thrilling. That first half of both Avatar movies I didn't really find myself all that engaged. Now I'm talking purely about on an emotional level. There is always something to engage with on the screen. In Avatar 2 you can stare at the screen with your jaw hanging slack for this entire movie, just wondering how it was done, and if you see it in 3D, like I did. In fact, I don't even know if there are 2D options. Maybe there are, but the screening was in 3D, and I am not a fan of 3D, and that is also a side effect of the first movie. It made it so popular that all of a sudden all these films were post-converting into 3D that were never supposed to be in 3D, which I'm assuming pissed off a lot of filmmakers. And every movie was in 3D forever, but gratefully for me anyway, that's kind of leveled out. 3D has remained an option for at least a few show times a day for some of the bigger films, but now with Avatar 2 being in 3D, it's not as impressive to me because the first film and the response to it from Hollywood, which is not Avatar or James Cameron's fault, the response to it from Hollywood to make everything 3D for a few years made the experience of watching movies in 3D rather tiresome. But there is no doubt in my mind that James Cameron has cracked the code for delivering the best possible 3D experience. If you are forced or want to see this movie in 3D because it is beautiful, it's very clear that James Cameron just doesn't accept something that doesn't look as real as it can, and I think even sometimes then when something looks as real as it can, he says, well, can that be better? I will say there is an element of the film beyond the fact that the emotional hook didn't really land for me until halfway through that just doesn't work, at least in my opinion. Of course, there's a young character in the film that is human who has sort of been left behind. He's a product of things that occurred in the original film, and he's sort of been adopted by the Navi, and his character is in the film a lot. It's not that he's like annoying or bothersome, it's just that on the page, or in this case on the screen, I'm thinking about the screenplay, I just didn't really understand his motivation. He's very wishy-washy. Is strange, but he reminds me of the Mac character from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Ray Winstone's a fine actor. He's not an annoying character that you wish wasn't in the movie, but you can't read him very well. He keeps switching sides. He'll do one thing for the good guys, then he'll do one thing for the bad guys, then he'll do one thing for the good, and you can't read him. And this kid, his name is Spider, the character in the film, I couldn't. The motivation didn't feel clear to me, and I wish that storyline landed better because it includes some important elements similar to the first. I think the thing that most people are going to be talking about is the final hour at the Way of Water, because it is just non-stop. I mean, it's constant action, drama, suspense, and tension, and Cameron does some very interesting things with the dynamics of parents and their children, and the roles they play, and how one can help the other or not, help the other, and of course, at the end of the day the thing that's I think hopefully really going to stick with people is just that we need to protect our oceans, and I really admire Cameron for using this broad audience entertainment to hopefully convey a deeper message that could potentially enact people to take some things seriously that maybe they weren't thinking about before. Odds are if you like movies you're probably gonna go check out Avatar: A Way of Water in theaters, and I do encourage you to, because anytime a big movie comes out in theaters I'm glad to see theaters supported, and even though this is technically a massive IP, is an original thing that Cameron just kind of invented, and it's this world that's supported by two films and over a decade of work, so you can spend a few hours and go see it. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon, and if you like this you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.